Yes. It's Steel.
But you can't be any geek off the street. Gotta be handy with the steel, if you know what I mean.
Keeping it real.
Hello and welcome back to the channel. My name is Steven and this is Steel Keeping It Real. So you know what today is. It's Throwback Thursday! And because it is Throwback Thursday, what I like to do is I like to go back and pick out some hits from the past and present them to you. Now they could be one-hit wonders, they could be from a group that had a great longevity. Who knows until I actually choose one. So this particular edition I'm doing is kind of like 80s hair bands, but they're like the 80s hair bands that weren't the big popular ones like the Bon Jovis, the Def Leppards, the AC/DCs, things like that, even though I don't consider AC/DC a hair band. Like the Rats, things like that. They were like the next level. Almost they started being a hair band too late. Now, the first song I did was from a song that came out in 1989. If you know, 1990 is when grunge started. So this particular song is 1988. And so it's by a group called Winger. Now, Winger, this was their first album that came out in 1988. And they had a couple of hits off of their first album. First is the one I'm going to play, which is 17. And the second one was Headed for a Heartbreak. Two very good songs. And then they had some, they had at least like 5 albums, I believe. But again, if you're starting to be in a hair band in 1988, thinking like this is going to keep right and not realizing that come 2 years from now, basically you're going to have to change your whole style. It's kind of unfortunate for those bands that did that. Now, Winger was led by a guy called Kip Winger. Pretty good-looking guy. The ladies loved him. Tight jeans, things like that. With big hair. I'm only gonna tell part of this because what I realize now is that, when we were younger, when this song came out, we kind of changed the lyrics to this song, only one word, and as opposed to saying me, it was put in bleed. Now with everything that comes out nowadays, it's probably not the most politically correct to say that, but it was what it was for 1988. In the late 70s and the 80s, you had all these songs, whether it be from the Police or whether it be Glenn Medeiros, all these songs that talked about having relations with somebody who was underage, and it was just one of those things that as I think about it as an adult, I'm like, how did all these songs fly on the radio station? How do they do it? And, the only thing I can chalk it up to is like, different times, different things, different attitudes, when you have, Elvis and Jerry Lee Lewis, marrying their brides when they're like, the brides were like 14 or 15, and I think one of them was a cousin, not to Elvis, but things like that. You have that, and nobody said anything about it, and then you have these other songs that talked about, the girl being, you could be whatever age you were, but the girl, there's a song called Young Girl, Get Out of My Mind. Like it's her fault that she's in your mind. That's not her fault. All these things. So I'll just leave it right there. And if you hear it, I can't unhear it now that those lyrics, somebody put those lyrics in there for me. I can't unhear it. So I just wanted to tell you that. I didn't create it or whatever. It is what it is. So, If you're still here after hearing all that, please don't forget to hit the like button, the subscribe button, and the notification button, because I'm doing at least 15 videos each and every week. So, without any further ado, let's get into Winger and 17.
And here we go.
Okay, so that was Winger and 17. You know what I like about revisiting these songs, whether they be one-hit wonders or not? The guitar solos, man. I really, really miss a guitar solo in a song. And the 80s actually highlighted that. Like, if you were in a band, you either had a guitar solo or you had a sax solo. And if you had them both in one song, you know, but most of the rock songs, well, there was even some R&B songs that had a guitar solo in the middle of it, which shows you how popular it became. It was almost like you can't be a hit song if you don't have a guitar solo. Just plain and simple. Don't even try to leave it out there. But then the 90s, all of a sudden it wasn't, nobody cared anymore if you had a guitar solo in it or not. Just as long as it was a groove, So that was that. Although, they did have them in the 90s because the grunge did have guitar solos because you had great guitarists like whether it be Slash or Izzy Stradlin or anybody like that back in the day. Nuno Betancourt is still considered 80s, but into the 90s, and that's a whole other stuff. Steve Vai. Eddie Van Halen. Great guitarists all. So that's it, that's Winger and 17. If you are still here, I thank you for staying tuned. I really, really do appreciate it. I am on my way to 1,000 subs by New Year's. And I think it's possible. I really do think it's possible. I've been exceeding my own expectations, so there's nothing wrong with that. It makes me feel even better to get to something a lot sooner. It does make me be more like, the millennials who are getting this instant gratification. It's not taking me as long as I thought it would be to get to the point, that I want to be. So there's that. But I only need your help in making my goal, and that is for you to like, subscribe, share, and comment. Peace.